All right, so we are going to be going over this question, number 7. So, with the other combinations and eliminations, we were able to have 0 pairs or opposite twins. But if you look at number 7, I do not have opposite twins. Okay? And with the X, I have 3 and 9. With the Y, I have 7 and 5. I have to create opposite twins. So I want to look at the coefficients. Okay? So let's look at we've got 3 and 9, and we've got 7 and 5. Okay. To turn 7 and 5 into opposite coefficients, we would have to multiply both by a number, because 7 and 5, to make them match would be 35. So I don't want to use 7 and 5. Does that make sense? But if you look at 3 and 9, if I multiply 3 by 3, that would give me 9, right? So if I multiply the top equation by 3, okay, that would create a matching twin coefficient. Now, here's the step that you got to pay attention to. We need opposite twins. Right now, if I distribute that 3, it's just going to be twins. We need them to be opposite. In order to turn that negative 3x into positive 3x, I need to multiply by negative 3. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm going to distribute that 3, and we're going to rewrite our equation down here. It's a new equation. Okay, negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 3x is 9x. Negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times 7y is 21y. Then I'm going to do 3 times negative 16, or actually technically negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 16 is going to give me positive, I believe it's 48. Let me double check. 16 times 3 is 48. Yes. Any questions on what I did there so far? Are we okay? If you don't understand, please say so, and I will re-clarify. All right. Now, this equation is now gone. This is our new equation that we want to use to combine with this equation above. Okay, we're just going to add straight down now. So the z's, or rather the x, cancels out. Combining 5 and negative 21. Remember, look, I have more bad guys than I have good guys. So that means I'm still going to be a bad guy when I bring it down. 21 take away 5 is going to give me 16. Now, one of the things that I've noticed that has been fairly consistent with many of the students, you want to make sure, don't just add the coefficient and write negative 16 and then equal. Keep the y so that lets you know and reminds you what you're looking for. Okay. Also, to not confuse you on what you can combine and what you can't combine. Does that make sense? I've been seeing some of y'all forget and lose the variable, and that can cause some confusion. All right, we're going to do 16 and 48. That's going to give me, what is it? Positive. Positive 16, positive 48. What's 48 plus 16? Yeah, we're combining 16 and 48. We're not there yet. We're combining 48 and 16 because we're adding straight down first. 64. Now we can divide. Now we can divide by negative 16. So 64 divided by negative 16 is going to give me y equals to negative 4. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to draw my sidebar here, and I'm going to copy one of my original equations. It can be either equation. I'm going to go ahead and do negative 9x plus 5y equals 16. Now, on my end, I'm kind of running into the number 8. So you have plenty of room below. So if you need to use below instead, by all means, use below. Okay? Now, we're going to plug that negative 4 into the y value. So this becomes negative 9x. Negative 4 times 5 is going to give me negative 20 equals 16. We're going to add 20 to both sides. That gives me negative 9x equals 36. Yes. Because we combined 21 and 5. We combined these two terms. We combined 5 and negative 21, and that gave me negative 16. You're just adding straight down. Okay, I'm going to divide by negative 9. That gives me x is equal to negative 4. So our solutions are going to be negative 4, negative 4. Any questions? How do we feel about that? Let me move up, and I'll give you a pause to copy. Your quiz question that y'all are taking is similar to this question. So you're going to have to figure out some way to match. You're going to have a quiz at the end of the class period. Do you mean to move up? More? We multiply the top equation by negative 3. So I knew in order to turn this 3x into 9x, and it's negative 3x, I need to turn negative 3x into positive 9x. So if I multiply by negative 3, that would turn that into positive 9. So then that creates the opposite coefficients, or the opposite twins. Can I move on? Okay, number 8, you're looking at the y's. All you got to do is create them opposite. So I'm going to multiply one of them by negative 1. Okay, now let's look at number 9. I'm going to get you started on number 9, and then let you work it out. Again, I'm looking at the coefficients. You're looking at 16 and negative 8. You're looking at negative 10 and negative 6. Negative 10 and negative 6, we'd have to turn it into 60. Does that make sense? So I don't want to use that one. Now, first thing I'm going to mention, they're already opposite signs, so I don't need to change the sign. Okay? Is there a number that I can multiply 8 by to turn it into 16? 2. So I'm going to multiply this equation by 2. Make sure that you distribute. So this becomes negative 16x negative 12y equals to 12. Okay, now that equation is gone. I'm not using that one. I'm using the top equation. So now I'm using this equation and this equation to combine. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions? Okay, get busy.